Hello everyone. So a few months ago when Amit called me, he said, "Sir, everybody will talk about JavaScript, you should not talk about JavaScript." So that was the primary mandate that he gave me, and I said, "Chalo, theek hai." So we'll talk about something else, how we are doing engineering, what we are doing differently in engineering in OYO. Not specific to the company, but generally what should be the audible, right, properly? Yeah. Normally I don't need a mic also, so I'm usually audible. So more than a decade I've spent in the industry. Started at like probably the Intel technology, and then Adobe systems, then Microsoft. Expedia was leading engineering at SlideShare. SlideShare was acquired by LinkedIn. It was in LinkedIn prior to this. And then joined OYO Rooms, which was 5 people engineering at that point. Today, and then we launched our first website. Joined in Feb, launched in our first website in March. And then after that, in April, our app. And then from there, scores of products, 100 to 150, 200, I don't know how many features. And the growth of OYO was visible in the last 1.5 years. You would have seen, nobody knew OYO Rooms 1.5 years ago. Today, probably everybody has seen and all those things. The few things we did differently there, right? From an engineering execution perspective. More than a decade I have spent in the industry. And whatever I realized over time, that the constant trend that I saw in the industry, the way executions happen, and what we should do differently to make things easier and better, that is what I'm going to talk about. It's a very personal opinion and personal observation from my side, and personal execution also in our own office. So I'll go into that. So the topic of the presentation is hyper agile, well-oiled execution. Because agility we can bring, but system starts to get friction into it, right? So well-oiled, so a machine has to be very agile, and also at the same time it should not be heating up with the speed, agility. So you need agility, at the same time you need the well-oiled thing in that, like lubrication in that. So that is where the industry, as per my observations, have been struggling to find the balance so far. So that is what we have done, and I'll talk about generically. It is not related to, even though I'll talk in the context of software development, because that is what I know and I do normally, but it is something that applies to any execution where more than 2 or 3 functions or people collaborate together and work together. And same kind of issues will be happening there. So we'll start with so this is the context, but I will start with this thing. So everybody in software world knows this thing that walking on water and developing software from specification are easy if both are frozen, right? How many of you agree with this? Everybody agrees, correct? So this is a fundamental fact that everybody wants, right? So this is something that, and that is how you will see when you must be thinking, you think, yes, that is what I want for my product manager. Product manager wants the same thing from the business guy. Everybody is wanting this thing because it is easy afterwards, right? So with this fact we will go towards, and this fact remained from beginning, right? From 30 years of industry, 25 years of software development that has happened, this fact remained constant. And there is no denying of this fact. Everybody will agree. So the development models also evolved in the same manner. The development models evolved saying this thing. So what happened is that in this last 20 years, 25 years, whatever, is that, so I'll get into this thing again, but I'll just explain this picture. So this is a typical workflow of a product life cycle. So there is a business team there which has its own requirements, and business teams will have its own business problems which they are trying to solve, and they will talk to the product guy will have its own product requirements to align with the business requirements, and then there will be a design guy who will create the UX for it, and then there is engineering who will write the engineering design and code for it, and then there is a testing team and the release team. This is how the typical development happens happened like this for decades. And this is the right thing. There is no denying to this thing, right? So what happens is that, going by the previous fact, that if things are frozen, it becomes easier. So every handover, I've put a lock there. People want it to be locked, right? So what happens is that, so first of the first and foremost thing to understand here is that in this model has evolved maybe 20, 25 years ago. At that time, internet wasn't this fast. The ability to fix things as they arise was not as agile, right? So think of like we were in Adobe Systems and Microsoft and Intel, and people even earlier would have seen that if there was a bug left in Photoshop code, right, that CD is cut and shipped to all around the world, and if there is a small bug which developer can fix in 5 minutes, but entire thing has to be done, tested, released, and then again new CDs have to be burnt and shipped all across the world as a dot release. You would have seen something .1, something .2. .2 is nothing but that millions of dollars spent on that small bug fixed by the developer in 5 minutes after release, right? So this frozen part was even more important, because if things were changing, it had huge impact on the company's reputation and fortunes and everything, right? So that was the evolution. So what happens in that? It becomes a client service and provider model, client and service provider model, where business guy has a requirement and becomes a client to the product guy. And product guy says, yes, I'll solve your problem, and here are the solutions for it. And then the same PRD, product requirement document, goes to the design team. Design team is a service provider to the product team. And the engineering team provides service to the product and design team. And similarly, testing to these teams and release happens. Everybody says, I'll do what you said, what you have promised in this document, exactly. It doesn't bother me what happened prior to that. The points that I've written here, a frozen contract document is must at any point in time. And there is, if something changes in the product document, we will say, yeah, this product guy is not good. He should have thought this earlier. So that is one. Individual onus of accuracy and completeness of the documents is there. So that makes people defensive also, right? Any changes, and this is a fact that any change upstream, in the direction upstream, will have impact, amplified impact downstream. If suppose direction changes, instead of fixing this, probably we should fix this. Now the entire product requirements and the design requirements and the engineering design that was done has to be discarded and created something else if things are, but it is a small shift upstream. So that is one thing that is there, right? And then so changes are opposed. People say that, yeah, don't change anything in the last moment because it doesn't work, right? So this is the prevalent development model. It is an incredibly successful model. We should not question anything, because something that has brought us till today, right? It cannot be questioned. It is a very successful model, and it applied very well to the stage when it was developed, and it continued for decades like that. And that is what we still follow. And there is, I also don't dispute it. Just that some tweaks are needed at every point in time. So this is the prevalent development model, right? So we understood the fact here. This is the fact frozen. Then we say, according to that, this is the model of development that should have been done. So now both are in place. Both are conjoined together, working fine. But the reality is this. The ground is not frozen, right? And that everybody knows. Because any onus on people to think everything up front, business guy to think everything up front, product guy to think everything up front is very difficult. So the ground is like this. Water is not frozen. So the requirements are not frozen. So things are bound to change, right? So when this is the reality, the development model, previous model, cannot work, because at the same time, one is the reality. Second thing is that the ability to apply change in the is also faster. Like on a website, if there is a change, probably it will take a couple of days or a couple of hours or a couple of weeks to change it. So the ability to change things has improved over years, and also we are embracing the fact that things cannot be final, right? So this is the reality, right? So now what happens? The model is there, it is based on some fact, but the reality is different. So there is an inherent friction in the model and the reality. And this is what happens. So this is how the actual dynamics works, right? The product guy, business, product, design, engineering, and testing, these guys are never at very peaceful and good camaraderie relationship. They are always, so business guy will say this PM is stupid. Product guy will say, yeah, this is always fickle, engineers are bad. Design guy will say, I make something, he ships something else. So many things, that is a normal thing, and we have got used to it. We have started saying, yeah, aisa hi hota hai. Engineers think that we are superior, these guys are not needed in the system at all. All this product manager and everyone. I could do it. Right? So that is how I have also grown up, right? So with those thinking, so other things I don't know, but this one, The engineering, what he is thinking, that is the right thing that I wrote for myself. Other things I have guessed. So that is how I used to think always, right? Nobody knows anything. I am the one who knows. I can do everything. These guys just waste time, right? And testing will say, testing is also, this is bullshit. You are changing at the last moment. I will not do it. So the problem is that, now, and this is just as that fact is a reality, that development happens that way. This is also a reality that we have got used to this model that there will be friction in the system, and people have evolved practices in handling it. People say, okay, I know how to manage this PM. People come to the interview and say that I know how to handle this business and PM guys, don't hire me. So that is what I see with the management team, right? Product guy will say, yeah, these engineers are bullshit. They don't understand any logic or business thing. They just write code. So I'll go and explain them to these guys. So those, an inherent problem of the old system, people have got adept at handling that. This is another problem. Something that should have been eliminated is being persisted by trying to become good at handling it. Right? That is the fundamental change problem I see in this model. Right? So what happens? And the fallout is very, very big. So what happens is that if for any feature, for any development, all these guys are working together, but none of these guys, there is no team spirit in the people. Because product guy is thinking, yeah, if business guys changes something, then I will have to, I have the leeway. I'll change the plan and say it will take more time, I'll do something. An engineer will say, okay, you change at the last moment, so 2 more weeks. So that team spirit thing is not there. And there is no empathy for the fact that the person upstream who is giving me that document, frozen document that I was asking for, that is also a difficult task. People would say that he is not doing a good job, right? So that is something. So no team spirit, this blame game always in the system, ki yaar, it was his fault, and no empathy. Overall, what happens? The kick of shipping the feature. What should have been the kick that I'm going to ship this feature and change the world, that changes and becomes a defensive organization that it's not my fault. Now the entire DNA of the company changes. From aggressive company that I'm going to do this and keep this, ship this, change the world, it becomes defensive that when this thing will go wrong, it will not be my fault. Because I did exactly what was written in that document. Right? But the problem is that these people are supposed to solve a problem, not do what is written in the document. The entire thing should have been on the premise of that we are here to solve a problem, not provide a service to the previous guy who gave me a document. So that is the fundamental thinking difference we have to see. That these people, the last testing guy is also not here to test as per the doc. He is here to solve a problem which the entire team has set out in the, but what happens is that developers, testers, design, product, they lose sight of the end goal itself. Right? And what happens is that at the end of it, when product is shipped and nobody is using it, developers and testers are not worried about it because it's not my fault. Because product manager told me it's his fault. He doesn't think properly. He's stupid. Right? So, all of a sudden, the entire smart engineers, the set of smart engineers, very smart guys, have told themselves that I am a service provider. I'm not a solution finder. I'm not going to solve any problem. I'll just provide a service and do everything that is written in the document. That is the fundamental problem. Right? So, then what happens? Now product guy is under pressure. If something changes, there is a big problem. So let me analyze it 3 times more. There will be analysis paralysis. And many of you must have seen products being discussed in PowerPoint for 3 months. Yeah, we would have tried 3 times, 4 times, I failed 4 times and found the right solution by then. But no, because if I try the first thing and something goes wrong, everybody will be telling me that it's your fault. So let me do the analysis more. The analysis paralysis takes a lot of time. And that is one thing that entire organization, right? And then what happens? The same fallout of this is that the system starts to optimize for the subsystem, not the whole. Now this engineering guy is thinking, yeah, my design should be good, my code should be good, so I should resist any change from this side, I should not accept this feature and all those things, optimizing for the subsystem's efficiency, not for the whole's efficiency. Right? So it's like saying that 4 wheels of a car are moving in very efficiently, but in different directions. So The car is not moving forward. The subsystems are very efficient, but the car is not. The whole is not efficient. So that is what happens. So that is the entire, this model is bringing in this problem, right? When so many problems are there in the system, then what will happen? People will get disengaged. Yeah, every day I go to office, there is a lot of problem, lot of email chain, lot of this, that, and I don't like working here. So people are not self-driven, disengaged workforce. People are not interested in driving and driven about kicking things out, right? Then people say, yeah, Agile is there. So Agile does nothing but increases the frequency of these things. So, because people did not get the philosophy of Agile, people just thought Agile to be Scrum or some methodology, a set of practices to follow one after the other, and this is how the things should happen, stand up at this time, document of this sort. People did not get the essence of it. The essence was different. But the way we practice is, we have just increased the frequency of it, and people are at war more often than earlier. Release used to happen in 2 years in Adobe when we were there, 1.5 years, 2 years, CS2, CS3, CS4, Adobe. Now, release happen every 2 weeks or 2 days. In Oyo, we used to continuously deploy for throughout the day. Now we have slowed down a lot and deploy 2 times a week. So this is so from the fact of frozen to the development model that has evolved because of it, to the dynamics that has been created, and the entire industry is at peace with it. Because this is how we have grown up, this is how we have seen things happen, and this is how it is. Right? So this is there. So this is what happens. So finally, when you look from outside, the organization looks like this. So business, product, and technology are having guns at each other, not at the competition. So that is the fundamental problem. This is how the organizations start looking. Right? And that is why some of the very good organizations in the world, which have the smartest talent available, the pace of innovations is slower there as compared to some other not so privileged organizations. It's not because they're not smart. It is just that their 4 wheels of the car are moving in different directions, and there is a lot of friction in the system. This is how the organization looks like. Company loses its killer instinct. The instinct because of which they grew big, that is lost. And then finally they get disrupted. So this is the Nemesis. Every morning when the engineer comes or the product guy comes, he's not thinking about the competition, he's not thinking about solving the user, he's thinking, how will I manage the PM today? This guy will say this thing and I will say this thing. Right? So I know what he's going to say today. So that is the fundamental problem. I am not, guns are at each other, not towards the problem solving or anything. Right? So far people are with me? Agree or disagree with me? Cool. Nice. Because that is why initially I qualified it. It's my perception. Because I felt people would say, bullshit. I don't agree with it. But this is how, from beginning. So having seen this is the landscape that we have in the entire, with more than a decade I've spent in the industry. This is what I've seen. And I felt that things can be done better. Some tweaks are needed. It's not that system hasn't tried it, system has tried it, and many things we have done also. And technology's growth, technology's speed, agility has brought things to a place where we can actually leverage that and not get back to the older model. So this is something that we tried. So we tried something that I called solver teams, right? So we said that there'll be solver team of people. All those 4 guys will be in the same boat. They'll be created together. And all the stages, the business requirement document, the product requirement document, the design document, the engineering practices, testing, and the release, the entire solver team has to be together. So what is solver team? So why it is called solver team, first of all? So solver team it is called because in today's kind of system, like where companies like Uber, Oyo, and other, which are technology heavy, at the same time operations heavy, the things can be solved in any manner. It doesn't need to be always a feature that solves the problem, right? So it's called solver team because the intent is to solve the problem, not build a feature for everything. It might be 2 guys sitting in the call center who solve it. It might be 2 people in the operations team who the solver team decides, no, we will just put 1 guy in the city and he will just take those calls and do it. It can be anything. Whatever is the most optimal solution at that point in time, that will be found. That is why it is called solver team. So sail and sing together is the thing. So what is solver team? It is one representative, one or more representatives from business product team. Business team means sales, marketing, operations, demand, whosoever you are working with. And 1 person from the product team, 1 person from design team, 1 or more people from technology based on mobile, website, platform, backend, and all those. So these 4 or 5 people will together be responsible, be together from inception to end. From when the business problems are being discussed, all of them have to be together there. And they will have to contribute at every level. Because earlier the fundamental problem was that the document was not created by me, so I did not have any attachment with it. So I felt this document is created by somebody else. It's his fault if it is bad, if it's his fault if it did not work in the market. But now, when you are also involved from beginning and you are asked to give an opinion from beginning, and you are a party to the decision, then all of a sudden the forces work together and they try to make things successful. Because I was also involved at that point in time. So these 4 people will be together, but for the business BRD stage, business guy has to lead the thing. He will lead it, but everybody else will be involved there. They will be asked for their opinion, they will give their opinion, they will talk about it. So when the decision happens, that is everybody's decision. If you did not agree with it, you should have told earlier. If you told earlier and you could not convince, that is also your fault. Right? Disagree and commit as a policy is used. While a decision is being taken, you have all the rights to disagree and give your thoughts and question everything that is happening. But once a decision is taken, it might be by tossing a coin or whatever, if nobody is agreeing. But once a decision is taken, it's everybody's decision. That is the fundamental thing that we have in disagree and commit as a policy. So everybody since was involved and given an opportunity from every stage, business stage, and the PRD product guy leads it, and everybody gives their opinion like this, like that, and then design, engineering, and release. So everybody, the entire solver team moves through stages. It's not handover of document from one guy to other. It is the solver team that moves from one stage, business BRD stage, to product stage, to design stage, and all those. So everybody will have an opinion, and so that attachment to the solution is there. So the forces are aligned in each other's together rather than against each other, right? So what will happen now, since I was also involved from beginning, I did not find this problem in the product requirement document earlier. So when that will be realized while development also, I will be aligned with it. Okay, let's change it, because it is not solving the end goal. So let's change it right now also. Then I will not be resisting it, because I was also involved from beginning. It's my decision also. So, and functional expert have to lead and own that stage. The product requirement document is owned by the product manager, but he will lead and create the draft and discuss and call meetings, discuss and all those, but everybody will be involved. So to keep, and they have to be always in the hot sync. So nowadays this WhatsApp group, Slack groups are there, the people immediately form a WhatsApp group where product is there, business is there, and they are always there and they are always in hot sync, talking on WhatsApp, this and that. So that creates that cohesiveness in the team, and people just like that. So that when you are talking to somebody every day, when you are discussing with him, talking on WhatsApp every day, you will not fight with that guy like that. There is a lot of value of communicating face to face or via chat or via phone. That eliminates lots of friction in the system. Versus compare it to the other model where we talk via document or emails. There is a lot of friction. I'm sure most of you must be facing that, a lot of friction in the system because of email chains and communicating via documents. That should be the last option. You should be trying face to face. If that is not possible, phone. If phone is not possible, chat is not possible, then email. Or email can also be second, accompanying all of this, that after discussing you can send an email. But the preference order should be that, because when you talk to people face to face and or via phone or chat, then the friction, all of a sudden, you try to solve problem rather than find issues in the other person. That is the general trend I've seen otherwise in last decade also. So that is one thing. And ST2, for the system, that the higher ups, the entire solver team will be responsible together. Here, you should have done this better. If you did not agree, why didn't you tell me? So that question, so this thing has actually worked immensely well. So this thing is clear. People have any questions on this? Because I know this is slightly contrary to the normal trend so might have some questions, and definitely we would have faced a lot of issues. It's not that it was a very smooth thing, ek din bola and next day it was possible. Yeah, cool. Now, this is one, you can think of this one agile team. So the way to think about it is that the entire structure of the organization remains the same. That there is business function, there is engineering, there is product, there is everyone. But one guy from everyone, the people who were fighting in the last picture, right? Those people are brought together and made to sail in the same boat.
Yeah, okay.
So now they have the functional expertise of their organization because they are aligned and sitting with them, discussing with them. And they have this collaboration, horizontal collaboration across departments also, so that the friction doesn't exist. So that is what is there. So because many people do it incorrectly also. Many people, what they do is that they create cross-functional teams, and some people have tried it, and I was reading it there. They create cross-functional team, but then what happens? People start thinking, what is my growth path? Because there is a PM discussing, and one engineer, one designer, one business guy, they are sitting together and they are one team. They are not part of their individual function. Now all of a sudden they start thinking, okay, I'm doing it, but first question, am I doing it right? Who will tell me? Because I am the only expert of engineering over here. I am not part of the engineering function, right? So I might be doing it wrong. Agility comes, but excellence doesn't come, right? So there is a lot of value of keeping them in the individual function also. So this is a logical grouping of people across departments, not the physical grouping which many models have tried earlier. So that is the fundamental difference here. You get all the benefits of the older department style and also the new agility of this thing. And these people are part of the agile team. They will meet in the morning and they stand up. Many times business guy will not come, but rest of them will meet. But business guys, because they have to go to field also when they have the operations team, and also they will have 1 or 2 meetings scheduled with the team weekly, but rest of the people are meeting every day. And their WhatsApp, chat, phone, they are always in sync always, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, just kidding.
Yeah, would that create more friction because now they have to agree on one point and then go along rather than previous way? At least people were fighting and some reality may be known to someone.
What was the advantage of the old one? I didn't get.
No, at least in the old one, if there is one sensible guy observing all this, he would have known what is the real fact. But in this case, because system is saying all of you sail or sink, then I see a lot of information will be hidden automatically. Let's go together on a common minimum agenda of sailing together and sinking together. So that way I see, a lot of facts can be concealed.
Oh, no. The thing is that at the end of it, the next level is not looking at what you did and what documents you created. Next level is looking at the metrics you moved, right? You are saying I'll increase this booking by this X percentage. If that did not move, whatever you are hiding or not hiding, it doesn't matter to me. If that moved, whatever you did was right. So, see, the same thing earlier what was happening is that except the business and the product guys, nobody else was thinking also of that metric, right? So they were just colliding with each other, and so the system was moving really slow and very distrust in the system. Now everybody is at least thinking about moving that metric. Now that positivity comes in the system because it is a small, we are very result oriented, and result oriented organizations need result at the end of it. Whatever you did in the entire year or 3 months or 4 months, I worked very hard, at the end it doesn't matter. It matters what you set out to do, what were the real things you talked about. You said if there is people are sensible, they will see, okay, you tried this was the reality, so you could not meet it, that is fine. But it cannot be hidden because people are very involved in the setup, and also your functional expert is there, right? So design guy is reporting to the design head. So when solver team is there, but design head is also functionally, the design guy is in the design head department. He will go and review in his own department also, right? This is not an isolated team. So what the fundamental difference you have to understand, this is not isolated. Like many people isolate a group of people and say you build it. This is not isolated. They are still in their own organizations. They are accountable to their boss and logically working together. So now if the design is not good, the design head is also accountable because these people will meet once a day or twice a day. But in his own org, he has to go and review his design with his manager also. And engineer has to review with his fellow engineers and the architects also. So people are going, grouping together, discussing something, and then getting back and discussing in their org also, so they're getting both the things, right? The sensible people are always watching everything because they are also held accountable for the success of this thing. So a midway we have tried to found. Instead of totally siloed versus totally isolated together, it is a midway in between, yeah.
All right. Are you okay to take another question?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Okay.
Hi, my name is Arun, and I just want to know that solver team are still part of a bigger organization, right? And knowing that, how the failure of solver teams should be handled within the team and outside. Like, of course, solver team will be failing some point, and knowing that it's a part of a bigger organization, they are the group of people, how the failure should be handled.
No, so like otherwise it is handled like there is no, that doesn't change here. The way organization handled failure earlier. So if you guys did not do it, they will come and say, yeah, this is what we tried, this didn't work, that worked. So we'll try again because we are a highly iterative thing. Move fast, break things, right? Move fast, break things remains the mantra of our thing. So you will try something and you might fail or not fail. So we are not checking people on everything they did. Okay, you shipped the feature, why the metric did not meet? Nobody is asking that. Over a period of time, you might have tried 20 things. Things should have changed to this level because we are knowing that every effort is not going to be successful. We are heavily experimenting, so out of 3 or 4, 1 would have worked. Right? Instead of analysis paralysis on the PowerPoint, we want to experiment in the market. And if you set out to do it in 2 months or 3 months, you would have seen success. Right? So the energy is in trying to solve the problem, not evaluate people. Evaluation will happen at the end of it. Right? If you are continuously for 6 months, you are not able to do anything, then definitely something has to change. Some discussion has to happen, some incisive discussion has to happen. Here, something we are not getting here. It can be a very difficult problem also. It's not that it could be fault of that person itself. So, but that doesn't change. We invest heavily in experimentation and failures. But over a period of time, we want to make it successful. The intent of most entrepreneurs you will read is that they take a decision and make it successful. So it doesn't, decisions are not right or wrong on their own. You take a decision and work hard towards it and make it successful over a period of time. That is what is the end goal of this thing, right? So don't judge people on every step. And people are judged on every step because they take 4 months to deliver it. You 2 months of PowerPoint, 1 month of design, 2 months of development, 1 month of testing, 6 months now, there is no other option but to judge you on this 6 months of effort, right? When you are very agile, very fast, heavily iterating, people will not judge you on everything that you did. Over a period of time, the trend has to be positive.
Okay, Ajay, I've got one more question over here. Last question, bro.
Yeah. So Ajay, these solver teams, I've seen them working in initial level startups, but when the companies start acquiring other companies,
Yeah.
or getting acquired, so I have seen there's a lot of friction in between these teams. So how do you solve that?
Yeah, very good point. So this is a question that I've been asked repeatedly from beginning. So when we were in single digit, engineering was in single digit people 1.5 years ago, people said that this will work at this stage but not later. Then at 20 ho gaya, after 30, 50, 70, more than 100, 125, but still it is working. But it takes tremendous amount of effort because every new person who is joining from in the business team, in the product team, in the design team, in the engineering team, everybody has seen the older model and their default instinct goes in that direction. And so you have to be consistently talking and explaining and showing the value of it. It's more of a culture, right? It's a cultural change that is there. So people, when they come, you have to continuously, every new guy who enters the system, you have to talk about it and show them the value of it. And that is a tough job. And that is where all startups fail. Because when I talk to a very small startup, like 5, 7 people, they say, yeah, exactly, we do like this. But as soon as the number crosses 15, right, majority of companies will start having issues. That is where the silos will start getting created. That is where there will be a product manager, there will be an engineering manager, there will be this guy, and the engineer will be pushed away to the corner, saying that you sit here, I am doing a favor to you, that I'll take all the ambiguity, take care of all the ambiguity, you just write code. Right? Now this guy becomes, who was a solution finder and a very smart guy, becomes a service provider. Okay, sir, which function? Okay, in this function, change this thing. Okay, done. So that is the fundamental problem. System transforms a solution finder into a service provider over a period of time. And this engineering brain, the smartest people, I'm not biased, they're generally smart. So smart people in this entire ecosystem, they are told to not bother about the problems, business problems or product problems. And that is where the fundamental problem, right? The most creative people, most people who think a lot about problem solving, who are always bent upon solving it, you are showing them only JavaScript problems, not the business problems. So he is thinking only about which function to call, which one is most optimal. He is not thinking about what will make life of the person easy, right? But that doesn't mean that he cannot think. Sir, you wanted to talk.
To that question, can you answer, let's say the business team that you spoke about?
Hang on, we'll get a mic to you, man. Hold on.
I have one more slide. Maybe we can talk after that also, because some questions will be answered maybe in the next slide. So shall we take it afterwards, or you want to talk now?
Maybe I think the question is the business teams that you're speaking about going with a common goal.
Your voice is not clear.
Conversion improvement, right?
Hold on.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's say you're talking about a common goal, which is an example that you gave is a conversion improvement. How does it play out when you are competing with other global markets? Let's say a business person, if he's focused for Indian market to improve his conversion goal, might be different from global perspective, and you still need to build global products. So how do you deal with this solution? Any practice that you followed, what worked?
So what is the agenda given to him by his boss, even in the older setup? Some
always
metric
conflict.
he must have set out to change some metric, right? The same metric is the goal still. Goal I'm not changing, right? It is just the mechanism to reach the goal is changing. But if the business guy is told to change the Indian metric by 5% or 2%, so the goal remains the same.
But I think the effort to make it global, let's say with at the same time, the conflicting numbers on different markets. So should that be resolved at a higher level than this one? Or?
Definitely. So the business requirement document that is there and the product requirement document that is there, that has all the pros and cons of the approach also, right? It will say, if I do this thing, if I create one more button on this page, the number of clicks happening on other buttons on the page will be reduced because load is distributed, the traffic is distributed to different buttons. So that has to be agreed upon. The PRD and business requirement document, product requirement, all these artifacts are reviewed by others. The system, these are the creators of the BRD, business requirement document. Business team, the product head, the engineering head, they will have a look at it, that thing, whether they are okay with the pros and cons of it or not, before the execution happens, right? So that I get your point, but that problem is there in the older model also, right? Whether you fight and do it or properly do it, the problem remains the same. If you create one thing, the traffic will be distributed, right? So I'll probably go to the next one and finish it, and then probably it will answer some of the things, and then that is the last one. So this was a model that we tried, and we scaled it, and it has been quite an effort. But system, because engineers and the product managers and business guys start to like the cohesiveness of the system over a period of time. They think, okay, I can just ping a developer anytime, the developer can ping a business guy anytime, and product guy anytime. If there is a problem on ground, they will call each other, and there's a lot of, the system starts to like and enjoy this journey. So the kick of shipping has come back again, rather than finger pointing at each other. So that we have seen. The advantages that we have seen. So one of the advantages is that there is a very deep understanding of end-to-end flows. Even an engineer will tell you how does the property manager behave, because he has gone to the property and shown his solution and then worked with him, sat beside him, and just as the operations guy would have gone, he would also went, and the product manager also went there. So deep understanding of end-to-end things. So there is more empathy and better value addition that the engineer can also do and the designer can also do, and everyone, right? Execution speed is really high because people are bent towards solving a problem rather than it should not be my fault, my document should not have a change later. That is not the problem that they are solving. They are thinking, okay, let's ship it, this thing, and let's see how it performs, and then let's ship the other thing. If there is a bug also, we'll fix it. That moving fast as a philosophy. There is very strong sense of ownership because everybody was involved in every decision. So the onus to make it successful is also on everyone, right? So it might dilute a bit, like product guy might have for PR, product requirement document, he would have slightly more ownership, but nobody else can say that it doesn't matter to me. It's his fault because everybody was involved, And and this DNA that you are a solution finder, not a service provider, is built into their blood. So now that statement also will never come out, that it's not my fault. Because you are a solution finder, you are not a service provider for a document. You have to solve the problem. So when that thing you built into an engineer's mind, then all of a sudden things align, right? Very strong sense of ownership. The focused alignment towards goal. So that is why the acceptability of change or even proposal of change is well accepted. People say, okay, we should change it because I think now we are thinking it is not going to solve the problem. That ready to change plan is till end. Even though that is not a very good thing that if your plan changes every time, but that when it is legitimately needed, genuinely needed, it should be done. That is there, right? Positive energy is there, get shit done attitude. Okay, I'll get it done, it should happen. Rather than this, it says it was written in the document, so it happened like this. Nobody is saying, it's saying, okay, we have to solve the problem, let's do this way. Let's find this workaround. Whatever you do, get the problem sorted. That is the end goal, right? So when you talk to people, as I told every day, the mantra is that when you talk to people every day, there is deeper understanding and empathy of each other's work. I understand what problems this business operations guys face on ground when they go, right? They are talking to owners directly, the users directly. What kind of communication happens? When a call center gets a call from an angry customer, what if that person goes through? Just because of this solver team model, this engineer, this designer, this tester is also understanding because there is one guy from that also, and these guys also go and sit there, right? So empathy and understanding solves a lot of it. So a lot of positivity gets into the system. And other thing is that there is big opportunity to think broader rather than just that function, just that class, just that component. Think broader. That, okay, I can think product also, I can think business also, I can think this also. Business guys are overly excited because they are able to talk to the engineer or the design guys directly, because engineers anyways have their opinion always, right? They are smart guys. But business guys never got an opportunity to suggest something over here. So they are overly excited. Okay, I can suggest something over there, and it works also. So they are able to push their boundary this side. Engineers are talking to operations, business, sales, supply, marketing, which they never met earlier in their previous organization, including me. I never met anyone earlier, right? So that understanding of the ecosystem all around, that is also there. And that makes you more complete solution finder. Yeah, cool. So I can take questions if you have.
All right. So, are there any other questions?
So does this look good, or what are the apprehensions you have? Because definitely I'm sure there should be some. Yes.
So,
in the previous slide, you had the sort of pipeline of BRD to PRD and everything. Is a requirement for this to work that this timeline is short? Because I guess otherwise, if this whole duration here is very, very long, then you can kind of lose that ability to move and adapt and everything. So for a solver team to work, if it's, say, building a product or a feature, what's the kind of timeline that you think, if it's beyond this timeline, this model is then challenged?
Yeah, correct. A very good point. Actually, I missed that. So generally, the topic of the presentation was hyper agile. The agile is also slower than this. So that is why I wrote hyper agile. So things are being discussed, decided, and shipped every 2-3 days. So there's a longer plan. If there is a longer plan discussed, we break it down into smaller deliverables in every 2 days, 3 days, and we keep shipping it. So there might be a bigger goal, but deliverables will be every 2 weeks or 1 week. So for this to work, as I get your point, I think 2 weeks should be the max, because beyond that it will fall into the older loop. Yeah. So that is where. Yeah, very good point.
since I'm holding the mic, I think I'm entitled to a question. So I think my question is more related to startups wherein investors are pumping in money. How well does the concept of failing fast settle in with your investors to say that, you know, by the way, I just put in like X million dollars worth of money into your startup, and I see but the last 3 projects that you scrapped off were actually failures. So how do you communicate that from an engineering standpoint to people who are putting in money?
Yeah. So as I said, like at higher levels in the organization also, and also outside the investor level, people are generally not interested about what you are doing. what your projects were, what is this. They are interested about some metrics that you are moving, right? So they are generally about that. So how, whether you are failing fast or failing slow or moving fast, it doesn't matter to them. As long as their growth is there and the room nights are increasing, the take rates, the percentage profit is increasing, the revenue is increasing, they're happy. So this granular project-wise thing, nobody asks, but definitely there's some, when big ticket items are there, they track it.
Yeah.
They track it and see the progress of it. And they are very, what I've seen based on my interactions with them is that they are very understanding to the fact that companies will experiment a lot and not everything will fail, will pass. That they are understanding because they deal with a lot of startups, a lot of people every day. So they are generally okay with this fact.
Yeah.
To experiment and try hard but their only honest thing would be that have a bigger goal than what you think of this achievable, have exponentially higher goals and execute. Execution is where they stress a lot.
Yeah.
Because everybody can talk. You go and execute and deliver. And that execution part is what is liked by them because they know everybody can talk about big ideas, this can happen, this should happen. But so I didn't see. Maybe Ritesh must be facing some heat, but I don't. The CEO might be facing some heat.
All good. All right.
I'm pretty cool over here.
Thanks, Ajay. We've got one more question right here.
Hi, Ajay. So all this sounds good as theory. Okay. My question is, how do we put this in action in a big, in big corporates? So I waited till the last slide to get an answer. So I recently witnessed a big corporate undergoing agile transformation, and so they were going from waterfall to Scrum, and then they ended up doing waterfall
Mini
every
waterfall.
2 weeks.
Mini waterfall, yeah.
Yeah, and then they called it as Scrum Fall. All right. So how do you do it in such corporates?
Yeah, so the fundamental thing to change, as I said, while I was outlining the entire thing, the problem is not in the model, the problem is not in anything. The problem is in that keeping that frozen accountability on one individual, right? Because still, when they are, why it is Scrum Fall, or people are not able to adapt to it, because they are still saying, ki business guy, your responsibility to build the document properly, right? And even in Agile, business guy is not in picture, right? Even in Agile, product manager creates the project plan as it is practiced, not in the philosophy, but as it is practiced. It is the product guy who will create the product requirement document and come with the development team and meet every day in the morning and get it delivered, rather than sit with them and brainstorm it to create the document. As a favor, mostly, and most of you must be thinking, nahi yaar, my product manager comes and shows me the document in the end. So that is what they do at the max, right? They will come, okay, I prepared it, if you have an opinion, tell me. When things are made completely, the amount of delta that you can make is very small, right? And engineers are given so much less opportunity to solve problems is that sometimes an engineer will say something in the product requirement document and product manager might agree that button should not be here or there or some solution. And this engineer will be happy for next 6 months that I gave a solution that product manager accepted. Right? So that is the level bar we have set for engineers, so low that one solution, one acceptability by a product manager makes us happy for a year or 6 months. That one day I gave a solution. I am saying solve everything from beginning. You will change the direction of maybe the product requirement document would not have been created this way. Had you been earlier in the phase, you would have changed. Maybe you would have in the business stage said this problem is not worth solving. Something else is even more important to be solved. So that thing, so agility, so in bigger organization, the problem is that, as I said, for me also, people who are coming from outside, it takes time for me to adapt into this mainstream of thinking. The thinking has to change there. The thinking has to change, but it is very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. It is very difficult to say that engineering team should also take the accountability if business requirement document is there. So, because you are talking about this kind of setup, this picture, right?
In fact, there are
these guns have to be removed first.
There are four layers between product owner and developers. How do you deal with that?
4 layers?
4 layers of people or roles between product owner and developers.
Yeah. So you're saying the product manager and the engineer, engineering manager and all those, right? Leads and all. Yeah. So that has to be removed. So what I've done, this is a good question. So what I've done is that as system will grow, there will be leads, there will be managers, there will be directors, there will be VPs, and all those people will be there. how do you set this up in that model? That is a problem. So there is a very simple solution to it. If engineer is a solution finder, he has to be part of the solver team. Suppose overbooking is a problem. There will be a team which will set out to solve the overbooking problem, right? In that team, there will be one product business guy who is facing overbooking every day. There will be product guy, design, engineering, and test. But now, this engineer who is there, he has a lead. The lead has 3 engineers. All of them are in different solver teams. They go to their different meetings, talk, discuss, and everything, and when they come back, they discuss in their team also. So this person, lead, is responsible for these solver teams, engineering execution. Similarly, product managers, the senior guy is actually taking care of 2-3 product managers who are in different solver teams who come back and discuss their engineering product excellence there. So that is how, at the bottom, you have to keep the solver teams at that level, but accountability at the next level, so that functional expertise is also getting into the picture, right? Like in big companies, I fundamentally agree that it's very difficult because those guns have to be removed first, and it's not easy. This is very difficult, right? Even implementing, if you are dealing with finding it difficult to implement Scrum itself, this is way beyond that. Scrum is not a change in the thinking process as I see. Scrum, what Scrum does? Scrum says there used to be very long cycles. We could not experiment a lot. There was so much onus on a decision taken because in 6 months it was shipping. There was a lot of issues because of that. So we should experiment fast and ship fast and try in the market what is happening. It did not change the model. It changed the frequency of the shipment. It did not change anything fundamentally. It just said instead of this big cycle, you should be shipping very fast, which is a very big step forward. It's not a small step. It's a very big step forward. It just increased the thing. But still, business, product, engineering, design, everybody had their own onus of things with service providing to each other and also questioning each other for disturbing their plan. This is slightly different from that. And it has taken a lot of effort to scale to more than 100. And company is 2,500 people, so all these engineers in different solver teams and then business guys coming from there and then telling them, okay, this is how it works. Because when people will come, they'll say, okay, this is how it should be. You go and figure it out. So aligning them together. So it will take some time or more time, but since we are able to scale from that one single digit to more than 100 with this model, we believe that it works and it should work. Continue to work. It will take a lot of effort and commitment to the model and belief in the model first of all. Otherwise, it will degenerate into the old. If you leave it, it will degenerate into the older model. People will start questioning each other and blaming each other. You should have done it. Yeah.
What is the final impact of
Sorry.
What is the final impact of this model?
Final impact is that 1.5 years ago you did not know Oyo. Today Oyo is everywhere. Shift. Yeah. So the friction is reduced. So hyper-agile, well-oiled. The topic of the presentation is hyper-agile, well-oiled. Both the things. Hyper-agility is there and the oiling is good, so system is not heating up. Otherwise, system is moving, car is running very fast, but it is heating up. It won't go very far. It is well-oiled, so that all the components are talking to each other, well lubricated because they are connected to each other very nicely. They are talking to each other nicely. So hyper-agility is there at the same time. System machine is well-oiled and generating results. Yeah.
Okay, but how does engineers become more productive in this kind of hyper-agile and well-oiled?
Engineers become very productive because they feel attachment to the problem, right? Instead of me being a service provider, think of somebody you call in your home to, suppose Taj Mahal was built, somebody you called one day in your room and said that, here, build this wall, right? That person will come as a service provider, build the wall and go, right? He doesn't have any attachment to it. He will do it in his sweet time. It will take 5 days. How can it take faster? It doesn't matter. You don't understand masonry. I understand it, right? Then you will say, yeah, it is not looking good. This is what you told in the beginning, right? This is what you told. This is a picture. I made it exactly like this. The point of the older model, keeping the developer as a service provider, is exactly this. He does things as per the document. He has no attachment to the final thing. You will say, no, I wanted to build the Taj Mahal. It doesn't matter to you. You are building a toilet or a Taj Mahal or something. You just built a wall as per what you wanted. So you have to align him from beginning so that we want this kind of building, Taj Mahal kind of building. Now he will come and say, sir, the document that you have created, it doesn't look like, it doesn't fall into that specification. It cannot be the best, most beautiful building in the world. Let me also tell you something, or he will be ready to change things. So when there is attachment, and this all of you will agree, when there is attachment to a solution, there is a mission that this is what I'm solving, there will be positive energy and you will try to make it happen. Rather than somebody telling you, "Ye kar do," I'll do it. Making somebody attached and own a problem has a different value and different kind of, that is what every company tries to give more ownership to people who are doing well. Because more ownership means more productivity, more problem solving, and more attachment to the system. So that is how we are just increasing the attachment to the system. And goal towards, instead of fighting each other, fight the competition, fight the end goal that you are trying to do. Yeah, so that brings a softer thing. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Ajay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very insightful session.
Thanks.
Really good.